Hi, my name is Olivia Karst, and today I'm going to be talking about a documentary I watched called The Working Poor and the Price of the American Dream. This documentary focuses on people in America who work full-time jobs but still struggle to afford basic things like food, housing, healthcare, and just to make ends meet. The film really highlights the gap between the American dream that many people are promised and the reality of what it's like for the working poor. In this video, I'll explain what I learned from the documentary and connect it to the sociological concepts like social status, their class, and their stratification. One of the biggest things I learned from the documentary is that the working poor are people who have jobs but earn what's called poverty wages. This means that even though they work hard and often put in long and hard hours, they don't make enough money to cover the basics of life, such as rent, food, transportation, and bills. This isn't just about a few people here and there. This is a serious problem in America where millions of people work full-time jobs but still can't make ends meet. Another key issue the documentary brings up is the lack of benefits for many workers. Like, people in these jobs often don't have health insurance, which is a huge problem because it means they can't afford to go to the doctor when they're sick. They also don't get paid sick leave. So if they do get sick, they either risk losing their job or losing income by staying home to rest and get better. And when it comes to paid vacation, that's a luxury many don't have either. This makes it so much harder for them to manage life, especially when emergencies do come up. And finally, the documentary talks about how the working poor often find themselves stuck in intergenerational poverty. This means that the children of working poor families also face the same challenges in life because these families can't afford quality education or even basic needs for their children. So their children don't get the same opportunities to raise above their parents' economic situation. The cycle of poverty continues and it's very difficult to break even when you're coming from a family. It's just very hard. As I was watching the documentary, it became clear that the working poor experiences changes in their social status and class. In sociology, a social status refers to how society views a person based on their job, their wealth, and their lifestyle. Many of the people in the documentary were stuck in low status jobs and jobs that are important and essential, but don't come with any recognition or pay that matches their hard work and their long hours. Despite working full time, they remain in a low status position, which leads to a feelings of status inconsistency. This is when someone's job or role doesn't match their social value or compensation that they deserve. Because of their low paying jobs, the people in the documentary also find themselves in the lower social class. And social class refers to a person's position in society, which is often linked to how much money you make. So there's middle, low, high, somewhat in between. And it's harder for people in the working poor category to move up to a higher social class because they don't have the access to opportunities like higher education people would. Social stratification is the system in which society ranks people into different categories based on their income, like their wealth, their education, and occupation. The people in the documentary are stuck in the lower part of this stratification system, which makes it difficult to climb the ladder and to improve their lives. The documentary shows that many of these workers want to get ahead. They work multiple jobs, they take overtime, but the pay just isn't enough and not paying them well. This is a prime example of structural inequality where the social system is set up in a way that makes it harder for people to move out of poverty, regardless of how hard they work. If I were working and advocating for a social change, I would focus on a few important areas that could help the working poor. I would push for higher minimum wages. One of the biggest issues people face is that they don't earn enough to meet their basic needs, which is so important. By raising the minimum wage to a level that supports workers and their families, we can help reduce poverty. And people who work full-time jobs should be able to make enough to live comfortably without relying on government assistance. Another area for change would be improving access to the health care. In the documentary, we saw how many of these workers have no health insurance or access to affordable medical care, and this leaves them vulnerable as they can't afford treatments when they get sick or hurt. And expanding access to the health care, especially for low income wages, would allow them to stay healthier and keep working instead of facing financial and medical bills and all of that stuff. Education and job training programs should also be a priority for many of the people in the documentary. They didn't have the skills or education needed to get a better job. And if we can provide more affordable education and job training, people would have a better chance at climbing that ladder and getting out of the poverty that they are in. These programs could help break the cycle of intergenerational poverty. Thank you.